Okay. When I was saying that I have not been a regular viewer of the nightly news, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really paid much attention to the local news or national news for that matter on TV. And usually it's just on as background when I'm in the kitchen, making dinner or whatever. But lately I've noticed when I do catch something on the news that Channel 24 has the most interesting news, and they go a little bit farther in maybe investigating a local story that's hot right at the moment. And so now I find myself actually turning on Channel 24 to see what they have to say.
How did you know to turn them on in the first place?
Well, I didn't. I just, like I said, I'd be in the kitchen, and it would be on in the background, or, I never turned them on specifically. It just would happen to be, maybe it came on after something, or what I was watching wasn't interesting, so I just flipped to 24. It was just by chance, really.
Yeah.
And then I would be in the kitchen working, and something would catch my ear, and I would watch it, and they would just have a different, more introspective perspective on the issue of the day.
And what made it interesting to you specifically?
Well, I guess what made it interesting was they didn't just read the press releases. Whatever the talking heads of the city have to say, they don't just repeat what they had to say. They went a step farther and questioned what they had to say.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember a particular?
Yes. Well, there's one thing that really sticks out of my mind. Just here recently, our mayor caused a big national stink when he told the U.S. Marines to leave the city. They couldn't do their practice here. Are you familiar with that?
No, but I think you've explained the story quite well. So go ahead, tell me
anyway,
what. Yeah, go ahead.
The point I was going to make is that the reason the mayor said that the Marines had to leave was because he didn't want to scare people downtown. Well, the Channel 24 reporter did a story from downtown the next weekend at the same time the Marines would have been there, and there wasn't a soul in sight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, they went the extra mile of questioning the mayor's motives and pointing out that there was really no cause for fear on the mayor's part of scaring people because nobody's downtown on the weekends.
Yes, yes. And you saw
I really like that.
And you saw this in the newscasts.
Mm-hmm.
Good. What about the anchors and reporters specifically? You mentioned they go the extra mile. Can you tell me more about that? Anything particular the anchors do or the reporters do?
I don't think it's the anchors so much, but the reporters. I don't know who's behind the scenes, but for instance, another reporter just kind of broke a story here in Toledo about we have a levy coming up in March, and the mayor and the police are saying that they desperately need funding. And this reporter found, and by the way, our police cars, the fleet is badly in need of repair. They're old, they're broken down. And this reporter found a lot of brand new police cars, 40 of them, just sitting there not being used. And when he went to ask the mayor about it, the mayor wouldn't even talk to him. And then, surprisingly, the next couple of days, now the cars are being put into use. Well, to me, that just says that they didn't want the public to know about the cars until after the levy.
Mm-hmm.
So they could still plead poverty.
Yes. How do you describe this kind of reporting?
Investigative.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would really like to see more of on my local news.
When you watch their newscast, do you see it pretty often, or how often do you see it on this station?
That's what I like. I'm seeing it more. That's why I'm turning to Channel 24, because they are doing more of this stuff.
Can a station go too far in that direction or go overboard?
In a sense, yes. If they want to, if they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make it more interesting, they can. If they want to make investigative?
Yes,
I don't think so.
yes. They do a lot of fact-finding as part of investigative, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a name for some of their reports. Do you happen to remember it?
No.
Okay. It's okay. You are the consumer, and of course, there are no wrong answers.
Uh-huh.
It's our challenge to communicate concepts clearly to you. They call it fact finder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they do. That's what they call it?
Yeah, they call it fact finder. But the essence of fact finder is going the extra step or the extra mile, as you said, to investigate issues. So they've certainly well communicated the meaning of fact finder, even though they didn't communicate to you well enough the name.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
You got to remember, I mean, in today's age, most people are not, they're passively watching the news.
Hmm.
They're not actively watching the news. You know, most people are doing something else at the time.
Hmm.
So I don't really tune in until something catches my eye or my ear.
Yes, I understand. A lot of viewers tell us that. Regarding anchors, if you had a magic wand or a wish list and anchors did more than they currently do, especially on this station, what would you want the anchors to do?
Um, I think the anchors are doing fine on this station.
Okay. Do they distinguish themselves or stand out in any way?
Well, I think they stand out in that they're not annoying.
Yeah.
To me, there's of our other two stations, they're the least annoying anchors. The
It,
other
yeah,
two stations might have a voice I can't handle, or a laugh I can't handle,
yeah,
or something.
yeah. If we wanted to raise the bar and do better than not annoy you with our anchors, and I appreciate your candor, what would that be? I can ask you a question or two in a moment, but how would they raise the bar and do a better job as anchors?
Um, as anchors, you know, the anchor is just there to read the news, and I don't really place a lot of importance on them other than the tone of their voice,
Mhm.
because they don't really, you know, they just read the news. I don't think
Yeah,
you can get anybody, you know, I mean, the tone of their voice is the most important aspect of their credentials.
if in addition to reading aloud well and having a good tone, if in addition to that, they asked the tough questions sometimes of the mayor and the people in charge, would that be appropriate or change your opinion of them?
Well, I would have a higher opinion of them, but I don't know if that's in their job description as an anchor.
Hmm.
That way you have the investigative reporters.
Yeah, well, you're the consumer. You're king here or queen here. If in every newscast one of the anchors asked the tough questions of people in charge, or worked the telephones, going the extra step, getting information, how would you react to that if they changed their job description and went that extra step?
I would find that perfectly fine. I would have more respect for them. I would consider them at that point more of a journalist or a reporter, other than just somebody who reads well. I would have more respect for them.